Hey, Kevin, knowing that this start would be likely for you, what was it like for you to watch your team bounce back with that win yesterday?
Yeah, it was huge. I think the mindset kind of, at least my mindset, I think everybody kind of had the same mindset. It's almost like a 3-game series. We win 2 out of 3, we go back to Toronto. We lose 2 out of 3, we're done, So, I thought the guys did a heck of a job against a really good pitcher, that's kind of had our number, to be honest. I feel like he's always pitched well against us. And, I still remember 22 when he came in the game 2 and kind of shut the door. And that was a huge win.
Other questions? Yes, Mitch in the back.
Kevin, I know you kind of have your pitches and they're your pitches, but how does it change for you facing the same lineup kind of twice in a short period like this?
Yeah, it's more so about, moving around the pitches. Like you said, I only have 3 of them, so, I'm not going to throw curveballs tomorrow. Like, I'm going to pitch the same way I have been all year. But there is a level of, knowing that these guys are going to make an adjustment from game 1 to game 5. And so it's more so just really kind of in game, seeing their approach. And you have a mindset going in of what you're going to do, but, sometimes you get punched in the face in the first and you got to change your mindset. And so you kind of saw that with Shane yesterday. I thought he did a great job of obviously coming back, and I joked with him after the game. He took this place to 120 and then took it to 0. It was a really cool performance for him and huge for our team. So it was really fun to watch.
Middle of the second row, Mike.
Kevin, we talked to Shane yesterday about that game being why the Blue Jays brought him here. For you, tomorrow is going to be huge either way, no matter what happens tonight. And that's sort of the game that's why you came to Toronto. So how exciting is it for you? How do you feel about having the ball in a game that big in this round?
Yeah, I've said it before. Anytime you're pitching the biggest game of the season up to that point, you feel really honored that you're getting the ball and excited. There's definitely some jitters, but that's part of the game. This is what we live for. I've thrown a lot of really good games in the World Series in my backyard. And never really thought about the ALCS. Usually it was the World Series, but this is something that as kids we all dreamt of. Pitching in the big game or getting the big hit in the World Series or a big playoff game, and so. As a player, you relish these opportunities to go out and show, not just your team, but really the whole world kind of what you can do.
And this place is supposed to be a pitcher's park. Is that part of your mentality when you're preparing for a start? And if it is, what did seeing what happened last night do to that?
Yes and no. I think I never really go into a game, if I've pitched in the AL East for the majority of my career. So, you can go into every game in the AL East with, if I give up home runs, I'm probably going to lose. But you can't have that mindset. Sometimes this place plays pretty big, but, I've played here plenty of times where the ball is, carrying out. So I think the cold weather is, honestly, before the game yesterday, I didn't think there was going to be much offense, and you saw we hit 5 homers. So, whatever you think, playoff baseball is usually going to prove you wrong. So, you try not to think about those things too much and just make pitches and live pitch to pitch.
Other questions for Kevin? David?
Hey, Kevin, there was a photo on social media yesterday of you meeting Ichiro and bowing to him. I'm just wondering, is that the first time you've ever met him, and what was that experience like?
Yeah, that was a pretty cool moment for me, honestly. I was lucky enough that when I came into the big leagues, there was a lot of, I would consider them GOATs, Ichiro, A-Rod, Jeter, and they were all in the American League, so as a young pitcher, it was really fun to face those guys. I got lucky and I struck Ichiro out one time. So, he's in my book and I'll be able to say that forever. But it was really cool getting to meet him, I had talked to Caleb Joseph about him, who was here and got to know him really well. I mean, he's just such a pro's pro. He's such a nice guy. To do what he's done, not only in Japan, but here in the States, and still be that, I just walked up to him and shook his hand and bowed to him. And, he said some nice words to me, and I said some nice words to him. And, I was really hoping to meet Randy last night. That was my guy growing up, too. I mean, I watched him pitch Game 6 against the Yankees in Arizona. I wanted to be the right-handed version of Randy, So I didn't get to meet him yesterday, but I met Ichiro, and, that was just as cool.
Go to the fourth row on your left to Mitch.
Kevin, I'm just wondering, like, you guys were obviously such a tight group during the regular season, but now that this kind of run here has gone from days to weeks and is kind of drifting late in October, like, what does this, like, kind of the cauldron of the playoffs do to the group that was already kind of pretty tight in the regular season?
Well, I mean, you get a lot more time with guys' families, to be honest. That's been the nice thing. Like, we have a big breakfast room at the hotel, and I mean, whether you go in there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 8 in the morning, there's going to be kids in there running around, and they don't know any better. This is the life that they've been thrown into, and so it's really fun to just kind of see those kids and their excitement. I think it takes it back to kind of what's most important. We're trying to win a World Series, but these are guys' families, and they've been grinding for 9 months just like we have. So it's cool to share those moments with them, and I think it only makes this group even closer. We have a lot of kids on the team, and so everybody can kind of relate on where they're at in that stage of life and parenting, and there's a lot of talking about the time change and things like that. So I think it's made us even closer, to be honest.
Take a couple more. Mike in the second row.
There's a report out, and I know you're not going to be able to confirm, that Santander might be coming off the roster with the back problem. This has been a next man up team for all season. If there is a change, what happens in that room?
Nothing. To be honest, it's it would suck for Tony. We obviously love to have him in there, but it's part of the game, part of this point of the season. He has really battled back to even get back. But yeah, it's next guy up. These guys aren't going to feel bad that he's not in there, and they'll probably be pretty happy, to be honest. So take that, and whoever it is, just try to do your job.
And did you strike out Ichiro on a splitter or a fastball?
It was a splitter, yeah. It was a good one too. Still remember it.